The time is 4:39 p.m. and I'd like to call to order the October 20th meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners. We have a quorum with Commissioner Sumter, Commissioner Lopez, Commissioner Frank Collier-Clemens, Commissioner Palladino, and Mayor Rilling. First item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes of the September 15th, 2025 meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion to accept the minutes.
Okay. Any corrections, deletions, or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes as submitted?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have public participation. Is there anybody that's waiting to address the authority or the commission?
We have no one raising their hand, Mayor.
Okay. Seeing none, I will then close public participation. Next item on the agenda is the recognition Officers of the Month. Chief?
Yes, Mayor Rilling. Good afternoon. Honored to inform everyone that Officer Nelson Figueroa and Officer Corey Autzen were chosen for the September 2025 Officer of the Month for their actions on September 15, 2025, in which they were able to locate and safely apprehend an armed individual who had just threatened someone with a firearm. On September 15, 2025, NOAA Combined Dispatch received a 911 call from an individual who reported that he had been threatened by a suspect who had pointed a handgun at him in the area of 458 Westport Avenue. The caller gave a brief description and direction of travel. Officer Nelson Figueroa, who was on an extra duty detail nearby, responded forthwith to the location and observed the subject matching the description. Officer Figueroa tactically parked his vehicle to avoid the suspect from fleeing. When Officer Figueroa observed the suspect remove a silver handgun from his waistband and hand it off to a subject who was sitting in a parked vehicle nearby. Officer Figueroa gave verbal commands to the suspect, who complied and was detained in handcuffs. With this, Officer Otten arrived on scene, who gave verbal commands to the male passenger who took the gun from the suspect, ordering him out of the car and detaining him in handcuffs. A second occupant was also ordered out of the vehicle safely, where the officers located a .40 caliber semi-automatic pistol with a high-capacity magazine containing 11 rounds of ammunition. Due to the actions of Officer Nelson Figueroa and Officer Corey Autten, both officers were able to locate and bravely apprehend an armed subject who had just threatened a victim with a gun in a matter of minutes. Their courageous actions, paired with sound tactical operations, not only removed an imminent public threat, but also safely arrested this felon with limited use of force. As a result of this outstanding police work, I'm pleased to name Officers Nelson Figueroa and Officer Corey Autten as September 2025 Officers of the Month.
Another excellent example of very good police work. I know, and as I was reading this, I know we all get a bit frustrated when we see a lot of the construction sites around town and traffic is backing up, a little bit of growing pains that we tend to have. But so many times an officer on an extra duty assignment has radio contact with dispatch, hears something, and is able to take an action and move into the area on their own. They don't have to leave the construction site or the extra job site where they are, but they choose to do it because of their dedication, professionalism, and especially in something like this where you have an armed suspect. So I congratulate the officers, Officer Figueroa and Officer Autten. Any other comments from the commission?
I reiterate the same, Mayor. I think that, of course, they should both be commended, Officer Figueroa and Corey, for their outstanding work and their commitment to excellence, to make sure that our town is safer, and that all the residents are safe from harm's way. And I think they did an outstanding job in this case.
I too would like to just commend Officer Figueroa and Officer Autten for some outstanding work and really keeping the citizens safe in a situation like this. And I just thought that they need to really be commended, because not only were they able to apprehend them, but to get some loaded firearms off the street. outstanding work by the Norwalk Police Department and by these two officers.
Any further comments or discussion?
Mayor Rilling, to echo some of what you said, I commend Officer Figueroa and Officer Otten. And a couple days ago, I was having coffee and somebody said to me, why do we pay officers to direct traffic when we can get a flag person for a third of the cost? And my answer was, first off, and hopefully I said it correct, was it's paid by the contractor, and it puts an officer out there on the street that if something happens in an emergency, they're there when they wouldn't be there. And sometimes they're there very quick because they're in the area. So.
Absolutely,
A good example of that.
absolutely.
Yes, and we see this. Are you finished, Commissioner? I'm
Yes, I am.
sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, we quite often we see officers who are on extra duty detail responding to dispatch calls and helping keep our city safe. And I'd just like to commend Officers Figueroa and Otten for responding in such a swift manner. And I'd also like to give praise to the administration team and the response team of the dispatchers, and being able to receive calls and dispatch them to the officers in such a way that it's clear, understandable, and can be responded to easily.
Very good. And thank you to the officers. And next, we have a civilian award, Chief.
Yes, Mayor, for Robert Downs, who didn't want to attend today's meeting, but we spoke to him, we mailed him the certificate. On September 20th, 2025, police units were dispatched to the area of Channel Avenue for the report of an elderly dementia patient in the water. Robert Downs reported that he looked out of the rear window of his home facing the water and observed an elderly female in the water right off the dock on the neighboring property. Robert then ran and alerted the female's live-in aide across the street on Channel Avenue and then proceeded to put on a pair of waders and get into the water to attempt to save the elderly female. Robert was able to hold the female upright and carry her into the muddy area in close proximity to the dock. Robert held the elderly female upright in the water until police officers arrived on scene and assisted him in removing her from the water. Robert was subsequently himself stuck in the mud based on his life-saving efforts, which he was afterwards was able to get out with the assistance of officers in the arriving fire department. Robert's swift, proactive action certainly saved the elderly female from possibly drowning or hypothermia, and his observations were key because no one else had seen this woman wade out into the water.
And I know we've seen stuff like this before. It's so amazing when people choose to get involved, even though they don't have to. Here's a man who was safely in his home. In addition to calling and letting dispatch know, he ran out and did something to help her. Kudos to Mr. Downs.
Yes.
Kudos to him. Any other comments from the commissioners?
For sure, heroic act, no question, and he should be commended. We thank Mr. Downs for such an act of bravery.
Yes, to put his life in danger. He didn't even think about that, but he saw something and he did something because another human neighbor was in trouble and he felt that he could help. Congratulations to you and thank you so much for your quick thinking.
Yes, I too congratulate Mr. Downs for the heroic act and appreciate Chief Walsh that you put this award forward.
You're welcome.
I too would like to commend the Robert Downs for some instant action in not only seeing it, but seeing something is one thing, but then just getting into action and doing really is the second part. And for that, he certainly does need to be commended for saving a life and not even thinking about his own, because I think, as I read, he too had gotten somewhat stuck, but he didn't care about that. He was more concerned about helping someone else. So that's a job well done again.
Okay. Next, we have the Chief's Executive Report, Chief Walsh.
Yes, Mayor, Police Commission, September 2025, Chief's Executive Report on sworn personnel updates. 181 sworn personnel as of September 31st, 2025. That means there are 2 budget openings short of full capacity. Sergeant Shannon Sherry, administrative leave. Officer Stephen Luciano, administrative leave. Officer Lillian Martinez, administrative restricted duty. Sergeant Rafael Fonseca terminated 9/4/25. Lieutenant Praveen John retired 9/23/25. 4 officers are on light duty status due to injuries. Sick days used 208. Workman's compensation days used were 33. 2 officers are attending the Post Academy, Officer Kim and Corkins, and we had 1 officer in field training, Officer Keyshawn McDowell. Civilian personnel updates: 20 telecommunicators supervisors assigned to combined dispatch. 1 candidate has been hired and is in training, with 1 open position that remains. Interviews are scheduled for the 23rd to fill that position. 14 civilian employees assigned to other support staff positions are fully staffed. No further civilian personnel changes. Departmental initiatives and current issues. The state of Connecticut released its first quarter crime statistics for 2025. The Connecticut crimes against persons saw a drop of 11.1%. In the city of Norwalk, we saw crimes against persons drop 20.4%. In the state of Connecticut, crimes against property dropped 19.1%. Crimes against property in the city of Norwalk dropped 32.1%. Connecticut crimes against society are up 5.1%. Norwalk crimes against society 26.7%. To provide some context to that data point, crimes against society are crimes that are classified as cruelty against animals, drug offenses. Those 2 indexes alone, we made 1 specific investigation where we made probably 8 arrests of 1 individual for cruelty against animals when she lived in Norwalk. It was a statewide investigation, so that definitely jumped our data point. And due to all our self-initiated enforcement of the vape shops leading to narcotics arrest, that has also increased. So what you're seeing there is a jump, but that's due to self-initiated arrests, which are leading to that data. In September 2025, the department participated and successfully passed its Simmers CALIA review of the Norwalk Police Department directives and manual. The department is preparing for the CALIA on-site assessment, which is scheduled to begin on October 27, 2025. To provide some more context to that, CALIA, this is our year for a full evaluation. So they, through Simmers and Power DMS, they reviewed our directives, which successfully passed all their tests in compliance with CALIA. And we'll have assessor in the building for 3 days next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, to conduct on-site interviews and inspections of our building and policies. Finance and administration updates. The appended spreadsheets for September 2025. Overtime in 5 accounts being monitored, up 11% from September 2024 and down 37% from August 2025. 4 patrolmen and 1 sergeant have been assigned back to the patrol division to ease overtime spending from other divisions. Uniform patrol of 3% from September 2024. Special services overtime down 14%. Detective Bureau overtime up 46%. Training division overtime 21%. SVU division overtime up 9%. OT in 5 accounts being monitored, 11% from September 2024 and down 37% from the previous month. State and federal asset forfeiture account balance $300,350. Asset forfeiture ending balance down 1% from August 2025. Other points, data entry is coding of all our police reports is current up to August 27, 2025. As you can see,
That in and of itself is remarkable,
yes, that's the,
coding that they have to go through. You know, we've been for years trying to catch up, and it seems like over the past few years they are getting caught up, and that's really good to see.
yeah, we have a great staff and records, and Mr. Dosmo does a great job in supervising them. So as you can see, we're tracking the school security overtime that we're usually spending on a daily and weekly basis. Through the beginning of school, we have it tallied so far. It's just shy of $44,000. Other administrative fees that we have collected in September, revenues, alarm fines, alarm contractor registration, alarm late fines. On page 3, extra duty, there was 1,076 extra work jobs requested. 26 of them were canceled, making that a total of 1,050. 956 jobs details were worked, which is a 91% staffing rate. The officers worked 9,663 hours of extra work. For 61 clients, officers called off 138 jobs. Called off means that they called out, they weren't able to work them for one reason or the other. Other records, miscellaneous tracking in regards to gun permits and fingerprints is listed on page 3. FOIs remain busy and steady for body cam and police reports. We're averaging probably a half a dozen a day, which is managed by Deputy Chief Lepore and Lieutenant Calminides. So our FOI activity is extremely busy.
Any questions from the commission?
Yeah,
I don't have a
one.
question.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Chief, I just wanted to ask about the extra duty. Because I understand that right now is an outside vendor. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
Whereas before it was done in-house. Is that correct?
Yeah, in January of 2022, the department went to a roll call, which is an extra work company that manages all our extra work. So if a construction company via the permit system needs to hire 2 officers for a construction job, they call roll call. Roll call manages the distribution of the work according to our collective bargaining agreement. And then the company pays roll call, and roll call pays the city.
And
And
and I just really wanted to really ask about the efficiency of that, is if that's being monitored for maximum effectiveness and efficiency, because I have heard where there are some shortfalls with that.
could you provide some context to your question?
So, for example, you have here 26 that were canceled as an example. And so I've heard that some of the calls were, some of the jobs offer were indeed canceled, or they were not being properly on time, promptly submitted, or they disappear, or they've had glitches with the system that they couldn't access. So I just wasn't sure who is monitoring that for maximum efficiency, whereby we can evaluate if it's still on target.
Any reports that you just stated are not accurate.
Okay.
We've had it's been a completely seamless system.
Okay,
So
'cause I heard it from more than once
no, that well,
from
I
different, personnel.
I could probably rest assured that if officers were losing extra work, or the extra work was not being distributed equally according to collective bargaining agreement, I probably would have been notified by the union within minutes. So when I say 26 jobs were canceled, 26 jobs were canceled by the vendor for some reason or the other, either due to rain or the storm, or they had some reason
Right.
that they couldn't work that day.
Right.
138 jobs were called off. That means the officer called out sick or something like that. That something happened. He or she didn't feel well. So we have not seen any issues at all with the implementation of roll call. Besides its initial growing pains, the officers are very satisfied with the system.
Yeah, so more than one, more than two, more than three expressed dissatisfaction, and that's why I'm asking. I'm just asking if there's any, in other words, direct evaluation of that periodically for what that might be worth.
Well, with direct evaluation, I would need direct information.
Okay,
We never filed, no one's ever filed a grievance. I've never gotten an email in regards to any specifics, A, B, C, this occurred on this date. So I think with any direct evaluation, the administration would need direct information from the officers of the union. We have not received any.
okay. Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
a time frame would be really helpful too for the 3 or more complaints that you received, Tony.
Mhm.
I mean, did they all come in one day or 1 month or 1 week or whatever?
Mhm.
We'll gladly look at any complaint you have, sir. I would just need some further context and information to look at that.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
The mine is a congratulations to the chief and to the department for passing that CALEA and for it being successful. Chief?
Oh, thank you, sir. The big test is next week when they're in the building. So we're doing a lot of work in the building in setting up some interviews and some other information for the officers. They'll be concentrating on 4 areas. Will they be interviewing officers in regards to communication, school resource officers, our directive system? One other area, Deputy Chief Lepore is managing that review currently.
Okay.
Chief, I think, do you have any more on the reports, Chief, or?
No, just in regards to if you wanted to look at the July through September salaries and overtime, we're tracking those in regards to percentage, 24%. And overtime we're about 3% below the yearly calendar, or 22% after 3 months, which is 25% of the year. So we are tracking that with some issues in regards to handling manpower and managing it through the rest of the fiscal year. And as you can see, in regards to the other breakdowns, we are tracking sick time and comp time and their causes and looking at that for efficiency.
Mayor Rilling, I had a quick question for the chief about the crimes against society, but if time is an issue.
No, that's fine. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So I guess it's a little disturbing to see that number, and although you've explained it and I appreciate it, what are we doing? And I know you recently told us that licensing was now required for vape shops. What are the consequences of them doing something illegal after the licensing?
Yes, they get arrested criminally on the appropriate criminal charges. And within the past year, this administration worked with the ordinance committee of the Common Council, and we created a new ordinance with Corporation Council and the Common Council to address these vape shops. It's a 3-tiered enforcement. So the first violation is a $250 violation of city ordinance, so it's an infraction. The second, within 6 months, the second within 1 year is a 6-month suspension. And a third one within 2 years is a suspension of their license in the city of Norwalk to sell vape products.
Great.
So this ordinance just came into effect July 1st. Right now, we're in the process of registering all of the vape shops because part of the ordinance requires them to register. So I think we've just completed that with Mrs. Dixon and Corporation Council, and we just probably in the past 30 days issued the very first 2 infractions of the city ordinance. So they are just getting processed right now for Corporation Council. I was on the phone this morning with Attorney Candela, getting those warnings and notices to the appropriate shops. So the first steps with local enforcement has begun.
Thank you, Chief, for getting that done, and thank you to the council.
Thank you, sir.
And also, Chief, as you pointed out, the 26.7% increase in Norwalk, a lot of that is doing with the proactive work of the narcotics unit and other officers. So every time they make an arrest, it's listed as a crime against society, but we're so high because they're out there proactively working to deal with the narcotics trades that are in Norwalk. And also, and I think it speaks volumes that the state was only 5.1 and we were 26.7, because 26.7 is a pretty good number.
Yes, and the arrest for cruelty against animals really
Right.
skewed the numbers because we don't get many of those arrests, and we had several arrests of those in the past 6 months to one individual involving a boarding situation.
And thank you, Chief, because you made that point and that was good that you gave some context behind that increase in that number. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, so I don't see Deputy Chief Blake here, so who's going to handle the operations?
I will, sir.
Okay.
For Operation September 2025, a report prepared by Deputy Chief Terrence Blake. Detective Bureau highlights, they had one commercial burglary, one residential burglary. We investigated one robbery, 3 larcenies, one shooting with a victim, but it was an accidental shooting. 3 death investigations, 4 IBOAs, 1 overdose, 7 other investigations, 0 homicides, and 0 sexual assaults. As you could see, they only opened up 20 significant cases in the Detective Bureau in the month of September 2025.
Mhm.
Suspects arrested for by warrant for burglary third, larceny first, larceny third, and theft of a firearm. And that was in reference to about 6 months ago, someone broke into the CubeSmart storage facility and they broke into the storage lockers, and we were able to work with other neighboring police departments to identify the suspect, and the detectives got a warrant for his arrest. Suspect was arrested for shooting a victim in the apparent negligent discharge in his home. He was charged with assault first, unlawful discharge, and reckless endangerment. Suspect arrested by warrant for burglary first, criminal mischief third, and larceny sixth. Special services. They executed a search warrant on a home on Haviland Street. Suspects arrested for narcotics sales, fentanyl, crack cocaine, and OxyContin were seized. Search warrants executed at R&R Vape Shop, marijuana seized, suspect arrested. A search warrant executed at A to Z Vape Shop, marijuana seized, suspect arrested. So in reference to the earlier discussion, Commissioner Palladino, those are the 2 cases right there where we were able to make the first arrest on the ordinance that I was discussing.
Thank you.
They opened up 22 cases in the month of September, 8 search warrants, 1 misdemeanor arrest, and 19 felony arrests. So they had a busy month. Special Victims Unit highlights several ongoing criminal investigations. SROs are conducting DEER education training now that school's back in session. We are liaison with 36 family violence cases. We have a DV, domestic violence liaison, embedded in our Special Victims Unit, who manages all the domestic violence cases that patrol investigates and makes arrests on, so to make sure that they get the necessary services. They opened up 50 cases, 2 misdemeanor arrests, and 2 search warrants. Marine Unit highlights in September 2025, 27 calls for service, 22 year to date, with 19 people. That was 19 people rescued. Life-threatening medical emergency on the boat, 1 rescued. As we all saw in the news, they had a barge break off the mooring at the Norwalk River, and it blocked the channel for several days. We worked with private contractors to remove that. Sinking sailboat at Peck's Ledge late. The Marine Unit is now wrapping things up for the season. The temporary officers was transferred back to patrol, and there'll be 2 officers who remain down there full time through the season, but we are adjusting their schedule. Abandoned Vehicle Unit, 105 calls for service. There was 19 vehicles towed from city streets. First platoon responded to Norwalk Hospital for a shooting victim. Officers quickly determined the location where it occurred. That's in reference to the accidental shooting arrest made by the Detective Bureau. Second platoon investigated a flock LPR hit for a wanted person. Officers located the vehicle on Westport Avenue. However, the suspect fled the car. A lengthy manhunt ensued, with the officers eventually capturing the suspect. Third platoon located a stolen vehicle based on an LPR hit. The vehicle fled. Stop 6 were successfully deployed. The vehicle collided with a police car, and both occupants fled on foot but were captured quickly. A handgun was recovered from the car on Strawberry Hill Avenue. Total arrests in September, 190. Total calls for service remained steady at 7,671. First platoon, 1,863, second platoon, 3,641, third platoon, 2,167. Day shift, it still remains the busiest shift in the police department. In regards to the selective enforcement, total for the year, 11,274 as of September 30th. 951 were given out, citations were issued in the month of September. It remained steady. Some of the highlights: 93 for traveling too fast, stop sign 78, control signal 39, no license 32, suspended license 14, 16 for no insurance, cell phone violations 37, and 12 DUI arrest, which is a very high number. Officers Equi and Officer Wazlewski were recently recognized by Mothers Against Strict Driving. The Norwalk Police Department is 5th in the state of Connecticut among all municipal police departments in their DUI arrests. So this is the first time we were recognized in several years, being in the top 10 for municipal police departments. But Officer Equi and Officer Wazlewski still do an outstanding job with accident investigation and DUI enforcement. Some of the other information in regards to, I've already gone through around the bar graph in regards to the Detective Bureau activity. It is explained in further chart on page 5 and page 6.
Excellent report on both fronts. Your report, Chief, and Deputy Chief Blake's report. Any comments or questions from the commissioners?
I have none.
I just want to know, what is an LPR?
A license plate
reader.
A license plate reader. It's an automated,
Okay.
no, it's an automated camera that will, if you go by it, it'll tell us if your car is stolen.
Thank you.
I
Wow.
have none other than an excellent report on both accounts. Thank you.
Yes, you guys are busy. Even with the boaters coming out. I just wondered, at the end of the season, the boats come out of the water and then that Marine Division is, don't have to do anything, or how does that work, Chief?
We have 2 full-time officers. We have 1 sergeant, 1 officer. We take the smallest boat out of the water, but we leave 2 larger boats in the water. They're still busy. We still have a large commercial fishing industry in the city of Norwalk in regards to shellfishing, clamming, and oystering, and we have the Walk Bridge project. The Walk Bridge project have people working underneath the bridge in and about the waters. So in Norwalk, the harbor is busy 365. So the officers are always there monitoring the radio. And now it's maintenance season. They do a lot of hands-on maintenance for the boats.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And
Any
for the-
further
for the-
questions?
Yeah, just
Okay.
a small little thing. I just caught it. Nothing big on the 2025 Operarians SE report. Just a typo. Nope, nothing big, but I just caught it. Under the Operations SE report. You see it?
Oh, yes. Operarians.
All right. We'll have that corrected.
Thanks.
That's probably been like that. We just didn't realize it. Okay, that brings us to the Community Affairs. Deputy Chief Dinho is here.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. For the month of September 2025, the Community Police Services Division responded to a total of 969 calls for service. There were 18 community outreach events that we can see here, sadly, for the funeral of Mr. Greg Burnett. And there's 2 more funeral escorts. And we had the 9/11 ceremony at City Hall, the Black Heritage Parade, the Community Renaissance Day at Norwalk Green, the Stu Leonard's Touch-A-Truck, Marvin Senior Center Picnic, the Car Show Escort, the Sonos School Ribbon Cutting, Operation Track Clear, St. Philip's Fall Festival, the NPD Car Seat Clinic at City Hall, where 24 car seats were installed, West Rocks Middle School sidewalk groundbreaking, Jim Hines discussion at City Hall. The officers provided aided in security detail, the DPW Touch-A-Truck, and the DVCC Sonoma Mall domestic violence awareness. The traffic unit for the month of September had a total of 488 motor vehicle stops, 32 parking violations. There was a total of 34 car seat installations. So the previous 24 at the special event at City Hall, plus an additional 10. They handled 0 abandoned vehicles, made 8 DWI arrests, 57 cell phone violations, 233 speed-related infractions, 34 stop sign infractions, 52 traffic light infractions. There was also a joint traffic operation with the Wilton and Westport's police department in their town. They rotated around, but this time we enforced with them in their towns. The accident reconstruction team had no accident, new accident investigations this month. For major selective enforcement locations, there were 65, as you can see in the chart there. And as always, we separate them between red, which comes from our Yukon traffic database. And they respond based on accidents around town that get mapped for us. And the green ones come from resident complaints. And that's how they select where to target SE activities. The behavioral health unit opened 36 new cases. They addressed 36. And out of those, they closed 21. 16 were hospitalized. They partnered with the state's attorney in 1 case. They referred 8 to services, and on 7 cases, they worked with the family. The training division total subject area or classes were 2, with 9 officers in attendance total. Our Norwalk Animal Control Division addressed 63 incidents, one of which was an animal bite complaint. They issued 12 infractions, and 1 dog was adopted out. On the last page, you can see the detail of the training report.
Any questions from the commission?
Great
I
report.
have none.
Excellent,
Great
excellent
report.
report.
I
Thank
have
you.
none.
Thank you.
Great report. Thank you so much, Deputy
Deputy
Chief.
Chief Dino.
Thank you, ma'am.
Very good report, absolutely. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you.
That brings us to the administrative report. Deputy Chief Lepore is with us.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners.
Good
For the
evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. For the administrative report for our grants and inspections, the DUI grant, it expired, it finished for the year on September 6th. So for the overall, it funded 116 8-hour shifts on 75 different days throughout the year. That started last October. The final numbers for the grants were, they made 655 motor vehicle stops, 658 infractions were issued, 97 field sobriety tests were done, and 73 DUI arrests were made based on that grant. Application for next year's grant is completed and it's been submitted to the state. We actually received confirmation and award of it this week. For the speed and aggressive driving grant, it also expired on September 5th. Overall, it funded 78 8-hour shifts over 60 days. So that was a short grant. That's only a 2-month grant. The final numbers for the speed and aggressive driving were 964 motor vehicle stops, 954 infractions issued, and from that, 465 of them were for speeding. And they made 2 custodial arrests. The DRE, which is the Drug Recognition Expert Grant, also expired September 30th. Application for next year was completed and it's already been awarded, and it will be going to Common Council next week. They're still waiting any award notification for a Project Safe Neighborhood grant. For staff inspections, Training Division had a 3-day inspection, September 16th, 19th, and 24th. There was no major deficiencies found. A couple minor recommendations were made, but with all the responsibilities and that the program has, falls under the Training Division. It's the inspection indicated it was a well-run unit. For the crime scene unit, we had 134 persons fingerprinted, 24 of which were for pistol permits. They had 29 case requests for DVDs and photos. They processed 30 cases for evidence. 96 patrol cases were processed for photographic downloads of crime scenes or accident scenes. 13 cases were delivered to the state forensic lab for processing, and 18 were returned back to the PD. 16 vehicles remain stored for court cases, and they conducted 10 background investigations for massage therapists for Carefoot Reflexology, Westport Massage, New Canaan Massage, and Merit Massage. 2 solicitor permits were processed for Xfinity Comcast. 1 was issued, 1 was denied. We had 1 pawnbroker permit requested for Hat City Pawn, and 19 vape shops were approval. So that was the processing of the permits that goes through the crime scene unit. The CSI van was deployed once during the month of September for a search warrant. In professional standards and accreditation, we finalizing the assessor schedule for interviews for the on-site commencing on Monday, the 27th. Identifying and labeling all observable standards for display within the department and throughout the department. Organizing all required documentation as requested by the assessor and that are required by CALEA for our final. And we successfully completed the state of Connecticut reaccreditation audit. That was also handled. It was conducted in September, the same week as our CALEA one, as the chief had indicated. So our state reaccreditation went through. There was no problems or anything with that. And we will be awarded that in March after we get our CALEA one. For body and dashboard cameras, we had, for hardware issues, there was 1 body camera that was replaced, and there was 1 dashboard camera that was returned for malfunction. They had 47 requests for cases for videos, 15 case downloads onto 17 disks, and 3 external electronic shares, 15 case shares with Stanford Court, and we had 10 internal requests. A performance audit conducted for the month of August. Activation rate was consistent at 84.3%. And again, communication takes place on a regular basis for any issues, concerns, or troubleshooting. For accreditation specifically, our 4-year file review began September 12th and ended September 20th. The state of Connecticut, as I said, took place on the 15th. There was no issues or deficiencies of concern, and that none of them were identified. And in accordance with accreditation, the property custodial changeover audit was also scheduled for October, and that's a requirement for CALEA when we change the property officer over.
Any questions? Another excellent report. A lot of work going on the department. And I had comments from a couple of people. I guess the Citizens Police Academy is ongoing. Is that correct, or just ended, or?
Just started, sir. Yes.
Just started. I had a couple of people, I think it was a husband and wife, came by, or I was talking, they said it's absolutely amazing what they're seeing and what they realize that the police department actually does. You know, a lot of people think, well, they're out there on patrol and they make arrests and they stop cars and that's it. You do so much more.
Yes,
Really?
Lieutenant Podorsky from Community Policing, he organizes that, and he does a very good job of it.
Yes, he does. Any comments or questions?
I'd just like to come in. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that, again, there is so much more going on in this department that I had no idea was happening until becoming a commissioner, because it's more than just making arrests and directing traffic, so much more, but such a good department with all that they do. I'm finished.
Excellent.
I just wanted to commend Deputy Chief Lepore on an excellent report. Again, there's a lot of work that goes on that we had no idea how much it benefits our department. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Lepore, for a great report and for what you're doing with CALEA. I know that must be quite a lot going on for the next week or so.
Yeah, just
Thank
for
you for all
the,
your efforts, Chief Lepore, for providing this information to us. Really appreciate it.
Oh, just one correction, Merit, about the massage licenses, Merit Massage and not Merit Message.
Yep.
I know that was a typo.
Yes, absolutely. And it was spelled correctly, so auto
Oh,
spelling.
absolutely. It's the wrong word.
This, and it talked about how difficult the accreditation process can be.
Mm.
The initial accreditation, as the team will tell you, is okay, it's relatively easy to do. It's the reaccreditation because all the reports and files you have to maintain for that 3 or 4 year period. In fact, the first department in the country to be accredited was the first department in the country to fail reaccreditation. So it's really very challenging, and it's remarkable that this department has kept it up since 1995.
It's our 30-year anniversary.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Congratulations.
Unbelievable. Okay, so now I believe we're going to go into executive session. It says discussion on personnel matters. Chief, just for clarification, that's the personnel matters that are just below? Or is there other? I'm sorry, you're on mute.
Yes, I put the executive session on there as an option if the commission wished to discuss these.
Yeah, I think probably as long as it's talking about the vote for appointment part that you're looking for.
Yes,
So I think we can go into executive session. I'll take a motion.
Before
To
we
go
do, before we go into motion, can you quickly tell me the link that I should be referencing that I missed? The link to the executive session.
It was sent by Zuma.
Zuma. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, so we'll leave this and we'll be coming back into this after we finish. Motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
All in favor?
You're on mute, Mayor.
So we're waiting for Commissioner Sumter. Time is 5:36. We have come out of executive session. During executive session, there were no motions made and no votes taken. So now we are back on item 10, personnel matters. Voting for the various promotions that were discussed in executive session. So the first one, we need a motion for Sergeant Michael Sellis.
So I will motion for the promotion of Sergeant Sellis to the rank of lieutenant.
And that would be effective when, Commissioner?
That would be effective on the 23rd of October.
Okay. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations to Sergeant, soon to be Lieutenant Sellis.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Next item on the agenda is Detective Lindsay Taylor, who
I move to appoint the promotion for appointment of Detective Lindsay Taylor to Sergeant effective October 23rd.
okay. Is there any further discussion on that item? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and congratulations.
Opposed,
Congratulations.
abstentions, yep, congratulations to Detective soon to be Sergeant Lindsay Taylor. Next is the item is for Detective Akeem Bryce.
I move promotion of Detective Akeem Bryce to appointment as Sergeant effective October 23rd, 2025.
Is there any discussion on that motion?
I want to congratulate Detective Akeem Bryce as well to Sergeant.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I don't see. Let's move on to Officer Kevin Versace, who's going to make that motion.
I move the promotion of Officer Kevin Versace to appointment as detective effective October 23rd, 2025.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Congratulations.
Congratulations,
carries unanimous.
Officer Versace.
Congratulations. And I still, okay, now we need a motion for Officer Richard Seitz. Who
I
wants to
move.
make? Mhm.
I move promotion of Officer Richard Seitz to the appointed detective effective October 23rd, 2025.
Any further discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All in favor, motion carries.
Congratulations.
I'd like to
Congratulations.
congratulate each one of the officers, detectives, and sergeants to their new appointments.
Always glad to see people moving up in the ranks and willing to take on greater responsibilities. That's what makes the department continue to grow with new vision, new thoughts, new ideas, and helps build the team. Thank you.
Keeps morale high too.
Next, we have on the item on the agenda, we have course approvals. First one being for hold on, I have it right here. Detective Christopher Imperato. Do I have a motion to open that up for discussion?
So move, Mayor.
Okay, Chief? You're on mute. I know we all.
Detective Chris Imperato currently holds a bachelor's degree. He is applying to law school at Pace Law School for a Juris Doctorate. He is asking for approval for civil procedure, tort law, and legal skills. I believe a law degree would be of value to the Norwalk Police Department in several ways. As a detective, it would be valuable for case investigations, in case preparation for court and trial of myself and other detectives. As a police officer, standards and training council certified instructor, it would also allow me to be approved by post to teach more post certification training courses to Norwalk officers, such as constitutional law, criminal law, laws of evidence, arrest, and search and seizure.
So he's asking for course approval for civil procedure and tort law and legal skills 1.
Legal skills 1 in those 3 courses, sir.
Are there any questions or discussion from the commission?
I can really appreciate Detective Chris Imperato ambition, and it's even, I think, so interesting that it's not just inwardly, for to elevate himself and his career, but how he so diligently indicates here, articulately, I should say, it's to improve the outcome of our department, where he says right there, it would allow me to be, it would be valuable for case investigations and case preparations for court and trial. That's outstanding.
Mhm.
And I think that to me gives the impression of the contributions that he wants to make. And that is so valuable. And I commend him for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comment or discussion?
As far as I'm concerned, Tony said it all, so I won't repeat what he said, but that's great that Officer Imperato is doing what he's doing and furthering his education.
Thanks, Tony, for speaking well for all of us.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We
Okay, all in favor?
we appreciate
Oh.
all the teamwork that he's giving us, and I
Yes.
commend him for it.
So all in favor of the course approval
Aye.
for?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, we're asked, course approval again for Officer Jason Luzniak. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Chief?
Yes, Officer Lesniak is currently a school resource officer, currently holds a Bachelor's of Science in Justice and Law Administration. He wants to go to University of New Haven, Masters of Public Administration. He has attached the form on page 2 for all the proposed courses, so he's asking for one overall approval. In my studies for the Masters in Public Administration program, I hope to gain the knowledge to help lead and serve the city, along with the gaining knowledge to become a leader within the Norwalk Police Department. He needs 36 credits. And he has listed all the courses that he wishes to take to obtain that on page 2.
Any discussion from the commission or questions?
Very ambitious list.
Exactly. And here again, I see his desire to help, as he, in his own words, lead
Mhm.
and serve. And that's stupendous.
Okay. And any further comment or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the course approval? I'm sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, and good luck to both of the officers as they pursue their higher education. And last but not least, complimentary letters. Chief?
Yes, we have several this month. From Sandra Fayos, who is the Assistant Superintendent of Operations or Norwalk Public Schools. I do believe that's her title. She wanted to express her deep appreciation for the support our schools and district have received so far this school year from our school resource officers and police department as a whole. On September 2nd, just a few days after school had started, an incident involving a student who was highly elevated and refused to leave school grounds was reported to me by the principal at Brian McMahon. While I learned more about the incident and how the student was eventually calmed and escorted out, I could see that it was Officer Erwin Reyes, the lot officer on duty that day, who offered his assistance, de-escalated the situation, and eventually convinced the student to leave school grounds. Officer Reyes was able to accomplish something that the school staff, despite their best efforts and training, could not do, and calm the student and restore order. Principal Wood expressed her gratitude for having Officer Reyes support and actually said, "Thank God he was there." Today at City Hall, later that day at City Hall, an irate parent who could not be calmed, who was swearing, spitting, and banging on the walls, eventually left her office and demanded to see the mayor. She could still be heard on the 3rd floor while demanding to see the mayor on the 2nd floor. Eventually, a city staff member called for police assistance, and the officers could be heard talking to the mom again, de-escalating the parent, restoring order and listening to her concerns. The officer, I did not catch his name, even after he introduced himself, came to the 3rd floor, spoke with me for 10 minutes, trying to understand the sequence of events, and asked me, "What do you need from the parent? Maybe I can get her to understand." I explained what was needed, and although I do not yet know if the parent will comply, I appreciated his approach. He was there to help, and this is the role of the police in our schools and our community. In this political climate where people feel unsafe and insecure about certain law enforcement in some communities nationwide, the Norwalk Police Department continues to demonstrate a commitment to serve and help all residents, young and old. I truly appreciate having your officers as members of our Norwalk Public Schools team, and I am equally grateful for the true leadership I have with both of you and your officers. You exemplify the oath of protecting and serving. The officers that responded to the City Hall office incident were Sergeant White, Officer Aniskevich, and Officer Chris Casimus. I do believe that was a very volatile situation. They responded forthwith and was able to de-escalate that situation at City Hall. There was a disturbance involving a parent, so they did a great job, and we have a valued partnership at Norwalk Public Schools.
Thank you, Chief. Another great job by the officers, and it's always nice to get these letters of thanks.
Yes.
Uh,
From another letter from Casey Cummings, who's a principal. "Good morning, Chief Walsh. I wanted to take a moment to thank you for fostering a culture with your department where your officers are supportive, present, and engaged with the community. It is clear that your team genuinely cares about helping and consistently makes time to provide support to us when it is needed. I have worked in other districts and I have not always had the same experience. The commitment does not go unnoticed and is greatly appreciated," from Principal Cummings.
Very nice.
Yep. Good afternoon. My name is Lorenza Ingram. I am writing to commend Officer Cornell Aberzini for his professionalism and care last week in response to a concerning alert regarding Darien High School. As a new resident of Norwalk, I was unsure of the appropriate procedures or whom to call if I had a concern. I felt uneasy about my lack of knowledge. around Rowayton school safety protocols. We are new to town with 2 young children and very much learning the lay of the land. Officer Abruzzini immediately reached out to me, took the time to call personally, and then met with me and another new parent the following day. He approached us with total kindness and warmth and made it clear that he genuinely wants to be a resource for us and for our families. He
Mhm.
emphasized that we should feel comfortable reaching out at any time. This level of engagement and reassurance is truly a breath of fresh air. It made us feel supported and safe, and it reflects the kind of community policing that builds trust and confidence between residents and the department. We are deeply impressed and grateful for the way Officer Abruzzini welcomed us and provided guidance in a moment of uncertainty.
Good, congratulations.
On- Another note for Officer Abruzzini, who remains on should I say the good officer list when it comes to in monthly letters. I wanted to take a moment to share some positive feedback. After an uneasy concern at Rowayton School, I was introduced to Officer Abruzzini. I had the most wonderful experience with him. His professionalism, kindness, and steady presence immediately put me at ease. It is deeply comforting to know that an officer like him is part of our community. Please extend my gratitude to him and your department for the care and reassurance you provide. With appreciation, Kathleen DaCosta Bombard.
And next,
Yes, in regards to Officer Vento, I was involved in a motor vehicle accident in Connecticut Avenue while exiting McDonald's. She needed her daily Diet Coke. The driver of the other car left the scene after backing into my car and caused significant damage. I was fortunate to have Officer Vento be the responding officer. He was there while taking my report, all while being pleasant, personable, and informative. Of course, an upsetting event, I was discouraged about the repairs and potential cost. To my relief and delight, Officer Vento phoned me at 9 a.m. this morning, less than 18 hours later, having found the driver, collecting all the pertinent information, and completing the report. Amazing. I'm a nurse, have a brother who was a Stanford police officer for 35 years, and have 2 sons who are firefighters, so I am no stranger to civil service. In my opinion, we should be praising our police fire departments and showing appreciation for the men and women who serve to protect others. I want to thank Officer Vento for making me feel like my situation was important and for bringing it to a resolution so quickly. He is an asset to NPD. Wishing you and your officers good health and continued safety with best regards. That's Officer Corey Vento, who's a 26-year veteran of the police department. He's
wow, very nice.
still doing
All right.
excellent work. This came in through Officer Tejada, the shift commander. Thank you for taking my call and letting me know. I wasn't quite sure what I could do to thank Officer Terrell for everything that he's done to try to help me by finding footage of my car getting sideswiped in a parking lot by someone who just left the scene. I wasn't hurt, but I was worried about the insurance because it obviously looks bad when you can't explain why one whole side of your car is destroyed. Of course, Officer Trallo came late at 11 p.m. when I first saw the damage to help me, and every day after that. He worked so hard to try to find footage for me. He kept trying and calling, and honestly made me feel like somebody was really in my corner. Even when my own insurance company sent a letter saying that they were going to look into this for fraud because I had no proof that it wasn't an accident. I was not in an accident myself. It was, of course, evident to me that as a police officer, he clearly would have much more important and pressing cases, but he followed up for months, and never made me feel like I was a pain or that he was too busy. In fact, he was so kind and helpful and ran down every possible lead. Only after all of that, he did explain to me that the odds of finding the culprit were less than 40%. Had I known that, I probably wouldn't have asked him to keep looking, as I know how valuable officers' time is to keep us all safe. But all along, he knew those odds and still would offer to check each place I had been that night to see if there was still footage of any of them. In any industry, someone who works that hard is invaluable. And I've always believed that the measure of a man is what they do when no one's looking, without seeking reward or acknowledgement. But I believe that is even more so the case for someone who works as a police officer. I'm sure you're already aware of what a wonderful officer you have working for you, but hopefully you could perhaps put a note in his file, because honestly, when one thinks of what an upstanding police officer is and what they uphold, which to me is a sense of the honor and a desire to serve and protect, he demonstrated all those qualities and even more, because he just kept trying and trying anyway, when I'm sure many would have given up right at the start. Thank you very much for your time, and please let Officer Tralla know how appreciative I am as well. Officer Tralla has probably been out of the academy about 1.5 years now. I think he was appointed by this commission just maybe 2.5 years ago, and he is doing excellent work.
Great, lots of nice compliments. It's always great when somebody very appreciates the work that they decide to write, because as we all know, when somebody's not happy, they contact us as well. And just for, and I'm sure the police commission realizes this, but it said, please put a note in his file. All these letters of congratulations get put in the officer's file, as well as any disciplinary actions that were taken against the officer. So it's a complete record from the time they start on the department until the time they retire. Again, thank you to all the officers. Any comments from the commissioners?
No, I think it's a wonderful thing that many residents and stakeholders take the time to give us all these details. I mean, I heard words de-escalating, which is a skill set, of course, how they were engaged, their kindness and warmth. And I think that says a lot about how the community feels about our department.
Mayor,
Absolutely.
I too would say that it is, and to get so many in 1 month just kind of speaks well of the Norwalk Police Department and the kind of job that they are doing. Even in the city hall, where you have the Board of Ed there and people becoming somewhat belligerent. But again, job well done by the Norwalk Police Department, and commendable to the chief. Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to thank all the officers for their professionalism and respect for the community they show when doing their job. I have heard countless times how fortunate we are to have such a great police department. The leadership and the men and women of this department make me proud to be a Norwalk Police Commissioner.
Hear, hear. And these congratulatory letters just further emphasize the foundation and importance of our community policing, and why so many of these officers, when we interview them, say that one of the things that really brings them to Norwalk is the fact that we have community policing. And it just shows, I mean, it just becomes a part of them. They're not looking for recognition. They just want to do a great job and improve trust and cooperation between the community and the police department. Thank you, Chief.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely a team effort, but thank you.
With that, I will, the time is 5:56. The next meeting is November 17th at listed as 4:15, but as we know, it depends on the length of the traffic authority meeting. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The time is 5:56. We are adjourned.
Aye.
Thank you for your time, commissioners,
Okay.
and thank you for all
Thank
the
you.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
week, everyone.